So I actually went to the Mormon church because I couldn't sleep, I was bored, so I went to a church because that would help me fall asleep. But it was quite interesting. I'm not going to be a Mormon, but I thought I'd just do a vlog reporting back what I was able to ascertain in this particular cult, I suppose, or offshoot of Christianity, which is not going to be that surprising really. But so yeah, obviously it's mostly well, it's a mixture of ages obviously. So there's a service there for I don't know what the term is in Mormonism, but for bringing somebody into the faith, like just had like an organ playing. It's quite a nice jovial communal atmosphere, I suppose. And they had like some head Mormon there who basically just, there seems to be some sort of democratic-ish structure, that they do have a brotherhood of organisers or something. I don't know what the terms are exactly. I'll tell a bit of a funny story before I actually went into the place. So I couldn't sleep, so I walked all the way to Asbury. There's a town or the village more like near where I live. Took a bunch of pictures of graveyards and churches because it's good reference material for painting basically. Then I read the Myth of Sisyphus and tried to sleep in a bush for a while, which was fun. Not really. I was very anxious, just trying to get to sleep. Because I'm bipolar, sometimes my mind just races so much. That's just part of it, really. My sleep's got better now, thankfully. Managed to sleep a bit. Anyway, so I met the missionaries who at first initiated contact with me. I think I'm going to make an assumption here because I don't know, but I think they just thought scruffy, almost middle-aged man as a victim for religion, down on his luck a bit, another victim, you know, bring him into the fold. Obviously you get into more serious things, so obviously a lot of people there had their own variety of issues. Everyone in life has issues. I'm not going to name particular people because that's very unfriendly, but there was, and I did speak to a few people there. Actually spoke to an interesting fella who was a computer programmer. It was interesting to me because has been my profession by trade as well. So just chatted to him for a bit. He was a friendly old man, you know. Obviously said hello to the two missionaries. Yeah, I did get in trouble though because I smoked on the Holy Church's grounds. Obviously made myself inconspicuous, but still, it's, you know, looked down upon, I guess, in any religion. It's because I don't know why, but it's not good for you, obviously. But I didn't approve of that much. Anyway, so I rushed into there. I got some water. I was really dying at first. It's a very warm day, very unlike today. I was pissing it down rain. And yeah, start the service. They have like a weird organ thing playing. I'm not sure if it was actually a pre-recorded organ or someone was playing it. Couldn't quite make it out. I was tuning in and out in between reading the Myth of Sisyphus, which I'm currently working my way through at the minute by Camus. It's basically a book about the existential question of whether somebody should give in to despair, kill themselves. What is the reason for someone not to do that? Which obviously in many religions is a sin. It's considered a sin to kill oneself. So I think Catholics consider it the ultimate sin. I mean, obviously it's not a good thing. It's a very terrible thing if that happens to everybody around, and also the person involved, that's their existence ceases, right? comes down to, of course, to this is that you have to, in a lot of words, is you have to find that meaning in your life that's external to any God, right? It's the existentialist truth of finding your own meaning, defining your own being, your purpose for being, right? I've still got a lot to read through. It's a very hard book, actually. It's quite, I wouldn't say it's too wordy. Obviously I'm familiar with most of the words, but it's also quite a difficult read in some respects. It talks about, but anyway, I'll go off track from that because that's a separate conversation. Really. It's talking about mental health and, you know, basically depression or depressive thoughts. Whereas what I'm really trying to talk about here is my experience of going into the Mormon environment. So yeah, they were friendly enough people. Basically, there was a woman there who was doing a talk. She was quite nervous. It was quite nice though how there's a court of communal support there for the lady. She was struggling for her speech a bit. It was very dry though. Like I clapped a bit at the end very awkwardly. And then nobody else. Everyone was getting quiet from what I remember. And nobody else really. So it was like a hushed respect. Then I sort of just, I didn't mean it in a sarcastic way, but I just sort of slow clapped a bit. But not in a sarcastic way. I really, honestly, I'm just awkward in the body language. The way I meant it was actually just like, well done for getting up there, really. Just speaking about something. I didn't know exactly, I wasn't exactly following the thread of what she was talking about, but still, I was just, okay. Yeah, it was very generally awkward for me because I was, you know, been up for a day. I walked there, stinking a bit, and yeah, I mean, what's to say? I mean, it's just like every other religion for me. I mean, I like going into these spaces, but I much more prefer going into a space that's very much unknown, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not religious spaces and sort of ritual that dictates, you know, all those spaces is very much a known thing to me. I'm much more into exploring destroyed spaces, or not destroyed spaces, wrong word for it, ruined or mysterious spaces. I find those much more interesting. There's a factor of the unknown in those, obviously. If you're just exploring a known space and a known quantity, there's no novelty in that. There's nothing new to be learned from being in such a space, culturally, spiritually, religiously, whatever else. Obviously I was brought up in Christianity, so I rejected it consciously from the age of 7, just asked too many why questions all the time. That was that. I spoke briefly to another missionary who was an English woman. Spoke a bit about, she's also lived in London, and you know, sometimes I put my voice because there's so many freaking cars. And she called herself a gypsy, which was quite amusing. Just like, in the sense of being a traveller. I recommended that she read Kierkegaard, who's a Christian but an existentialist. Probably something that she'd find some interest in if she is indeed Christian, I guess. And yeah, I just talked to a few people. I talked to I don't know, 6-7-year-old woman or something who said hello. The guy who runs the place, or the priest, or I don't know what the equivalent term is, was quite a friendly gentleman. At first I think he was wearing a very smart suit, and I was extremely dishevelled, so I think he was a bit taken aback at first by my demeanour. I also said, because it's true, I said, I think at one point I did mention that I'm a member of the Church of Satan, which I joined purely as a joke. I don't actually believe in Satan. Obviously, if you don't believe in God, you can't believe in Satan. But I did join as a joke a while ago. And that sort of shows the sort of level of contempt, I suppose, I have for religion and organised religion, really. Obviously, it has to exist. That's religious freedom in the world. It's just part of having human in a society. But human in society, having freedom in a society is allowing religious freedom, of course. But again, all these video vlogs started off because I basically told these Mormons from the very beginning of their initiating contact with me that I will never ever convert to Christianity. I've already been through that, but I thought it'd be interesting again to document some of my thoughts regarding religion once more. I wouldn't say I'm completely a Nietzschean, like I'm coming more to the Camus sort of approach to the existential nature of being. From reading Myth of Sisyphus, I was recommended also a book yesterday actually by a good friend of mine in the park. We recommended I read some novels by Camus, who I've only read partially. I read The Outsider. Obviously I read his philosophy, like Myth of Sisyphus, and some essays he did on creativity and rebellion, which I bought not that long ago. That is actually the essence of my morality, is creative chaos, I think. Creative, just basically that. Being a good human being, being kind to others because you choose to, not because any external force like guides your will, but just because you want to, right, really? And I think that's one of the essences of Camus' universalism and morality, I suppose, is that you choose to do good because it's the right thing. There's no actual force dictating that, like God. You choose to be good because you want to be good, and you think it's a good thing to do. Now, obviously, probably some people would roll their eyes at that and think, sort of like more nihilistic Nietzscheans, I suppose. I like Nietzsche. He's a great philosopher. The philosopher of the hammer and all that, smash everything down, re-evaluate it, which is the Nietzschean process, basically. And there's some aspects of it I agree with, but you do reach a point of philosophy where you need to, just stop chipping, smashing everything with a hammer. I think on my last vlog I was very confrontational. Probably I did send those Mormon missionaries the video just because I think I was being a bit clever, really, a bit of an arrogant asshole, which is obviously a problem with philosophers, especially if you do philosophy with a hammer. But they're young women, they're like what, 18, 19 years old. I shouldn't presume to know more than them. They've had experiences unlike mine, which are unique to them, really. I also spoke to an elderly couple there who were also missionaries within that church, and we had a really good conversation with a lady who'd just come from America, and we had a really good conversation about philosophy, about art, about religion in general. I just said straight up I'm a pantheistic atheist, basically. I don't believe in that notion of the divine. I find it interesting to get influence from. Also in a sort of semi-insomnia state, I did offer to get donated painting to the God of Christ, which is quite weird and absurd in its own way, like a pantheist, atheistic, agnostic, whatever I am, doing a painting of Jesus. But obviously I admire the human figure. It's nothing to do with personal belief. Been there, done that. There is no t-shirt. Anyway, I think I'll leave this here. It's 30 minutes. I thought that would be quite good summing up, just so I didn't have to write it all down of my experience at the Mormon church where I live, basically. That's that.